The Flash, number 3, written by Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato, art by Francis Manapul. We last left off with an EMP going off in the skies above Central City, and specifically over this bridge where it just knocks out everything in both cities. I guess it was Keystone, I think, and Central City. Either way, everything immediately starts going wrong as Barry, as he's running across this bridge, sees that a plane is coming down out of the sky and he has to do something about it. This issue picks up with him doing something about it. He goes over like, I didn't actually know my powers. Like, I just had to figure them out just through accidents most of the time. I stumbled across what I could do. And the one time I drank coffee in my entire life in order to stay up late for an all-nighter, I accidentally vibrated myself through the floor of my crime lab so I can phase through objects. And that's his plan. He runs up, he gets a running jump up onto the plane, he phases through it, he grabs a hold of the plane and starts vibrating it so that it can phase through the entirety of this bridge without hitting anybody. And he succeeds, he does it. So it crashes down into the water, everyone's safe, and he just kind of passes out because that took a lot of energy. So Mob Rule, aka all the clones of Manuel, they shoot the doctor who I guess caused this EMP because, I don't know, he wasn't succeeding in what he was supposed to do. And the other clones are like, dude, we still could have used him. He was our chance. And it's like, he was not doing anything and we're all dying, so whatever. Then we get a little bit of a flashback to how this happened. And apparently Manuel was brought into a military experiment. They promised, to give him basically Captain America juice, but regenerative is the primary focus of it so that he can heal from any injury. He'll also have a little bit of extra strength and reflexes and whatnot. But he was missing his hand, so they're like, all right, you'll get your hand back for it. And it did. He did grow back his hand, and he became like a one-man army. But then something happened, and we don't exactly get what yet. So then we're at Iron Heights where Iris was. I kind of completely forgot about this part of the story. And Iris is standing right next to, I believe it's, why am I blanking on his name? Captain Cold. And he's like, stay back. I know how to fight. And he's like, we're not going to hurt you. Look, we're just going to hang out here, but we've got plans for Central City, and this blackout is exactly what we needed. So just hold your horses, because I'm sure that's just going to go into the next arc. Anyway, Flash wakes up on the plane. Everyone's happy that he did what he did. Kid asks him for his autograph, and he signs it. And he's like, all right, there's a blackout in the city. I just need to go around helping people like crazy. So, there are kids stuck on a ride, an amusement park ride. He gets them all down, returns to his family. An elevator is plummeting down to its doom with people inside. He saves all the people. There's something about tigers. I'm assuming that, the zoo, but he gets them all back in, and then he delivers a man who is dying to the hospital. Then we cut over to some of his police officer friends, including Patty, and they're basically on the same thing, where it's like, hey, we just got to go around. It's going to be a long night, but we got to go around helping people as much as we can. So they do that. Then we cut to, I don't even know what. It's Dr. Elias. He's driving a 1910 steam car because I guess his normal car doesn't work because of the EMP. And he's trying to trace out where these EMP blasts are coming from, and he's out in the middle of a desert. It feels like Mad Max, but supposedly this is only 24 hours later, so I don't know, because when he arrives at where he thinks that one of these EMP blasts come from, because apparently there's many, he comes across a tank and a couple guys standing around, and he's like, oh, I just want to run some tests, whatever you guys are doing, I don't care, but I just want to run some tests to see if this is where it's coming from. And the guy who's there, his name is Axel, who I believe I know who is, but I'm not going to make any judgments yet. He's actually already made a deal with Mob Rule, and he's like, oh, hey, Darwin Elias. Okay, Axel, can we take him too? Is he part of our deal? And he's like, sure, why not? Bye, Doctor. So Dr. Elias is now a hostage by Mob Rule to replace the other doctor they shot. We get back to the police, and they're like, all right, everyone, good job last night. You all did great in making sure the chaos was contained, but, we're still all without power, so everyone takes a precinct and get out there. And Apparently, Patty got information on where Miguel could be, so they take a particular precinct that would be next to where they need to go. And they're like, Chief, if our cars don't work, how do we get there? And he's like, you're taking the mounted division. So they all ride horses out there, which is literally only used for a panel and a half. So I don't entirely know why we felt the need to do that, but they made it look good. So they arrive at this warehouse where Mob Rule is hanging out, and they overhear him saying some stuff about like, they shot the doctor, and how some of them are playing poker, but they're pissed off because none of them can bluff each other. And finally they come across Miguel. He's had both of his hands chopped off, and they were like, did they torture you? I was like, no, this was for recruitment. So I feel like I know what's going on, but again, they don't explicitly say it, so I'll hold on with it. They get Miguel out, and they're like, all right, let's go before somebody sees us. And they're like, too late, we already see you. And Mob Rule's standing there, and they're ready to give chase. Patty and Miguel make it out the door, but Barry shuts the door behind them. So, A, they don't see that he's Flash, but B, he can take care of business. So he closes the door, lets them get away, and he's like, you've just made a big mistake. And he starts doing his Speed Force thinking thing, and he thinks through all the possibilities so that he can take them out as efficiently as possible. And Patty screams, like, oh no, Barry, open the door. And Manuel's trying to just drag him away. And then one of Mob Rule just shoots, and Barry's like, okay, the bullet's coming, I've got to think I do this, that, the other thing. And then he overthinks, and he just gets shot. And he's just laying on the ground, blood coming out of his head, and he's like, okay, I guess we just shot Barry Allen. Anyway, that's the end of the issue. So, yeah, Barry, he overthought it. He stayed in his head for too long, and now he's shot in the head. And I'm sure the rest of this book means that he's totally going to stay dead. So, I did enjoy this issue. I thought it was very good. I thought it's good, no pun intended. It went by fast. Not in me reading it, that felt pretty average, but just in the fact of once we hit that like Dr. Elias driving through the desert thing, it honestly felt to me like a year had passed and we didn't get power back. I don't know. And then we cut to the next page and it's like, oh no, that was actually only a night. And I'm like, that's a lot to happen over the course of one night. I guess, but still. It does do a good amount of forwarding a bunch of stuff, and I did like the opening sequence. The opening sequence was fantastic. So I'm going to give this one a 7. The art, as always, fantastic. I have nothing bad to say about Francis Manapul. Obviously, the end is just clearly he's not actually shot in the head. How they get out of it, I don't know, but clearly he's not. But yeah, no, it's fine. It's a solid read, just as same as it's always been, and I'm looking forward to more coming out next month.